And you're a pro.
And Mark.
Yes.
All right, I've already started recording, Sean, so I'm not gonna fuck
Oh,
that
okay,
up.
sweet.
I keep
You have
spelling
started
troopers.
recording?
Supapa, troopapa. I have. All
Okay,
right,
cool.
we'll go live in just a moment.
Okay.
Get this shit. Food court.
The movie podcast where Sean
And John.
and John
Mark.
watch it, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We've got super special surprise guest Mark Anundson with us. How are you doing, Mark?
Having the best day of my life. Thank you for asking.
Oh,
think-
I'm glad to hear it.
I think Mark wins the best Starship Troopers Oscar for coolest background that we've had so far. I mean, Carter Glasscock leaning against a dumpster was cool. Mark's is like, home studio, like dude chilling in his basement, serious stuff. Like that's very good stuff.
He's in the remix studio. He's ready to put the remix to Ignition. Ignition's pretty good, but he's ready to kick it up a notch. I don't know has anybody heard the original Ignition, or is it just the remix to Ignition that
it's
has
really
been released?
Slow, man. It's a lot slower
Is it
than
slow?
you think it is. Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, it's like
Mark?
not a fun, fast song in any way. It is
Well,
like
I'll never listen to it.
May I say respectfully, fuck that. You may notice this, but we're ready to talk about a film, and I hope it's okay to say it this early. We watched Starship Troopers, and which means, and this is the hardest part, Mark. I told you that this was gonna happen, but this is gonna really fuck your day up. If you would you summarize the plot of this Paul Verhoeven classic, Starship Troopers, for me? Do you think you can handle that?
Yeah, so like a bunch of futuristic Earthlings from the 23rd century graduate from high school, and they want to become citizens because democracy is dead, and the only way you can get ahead in life is through citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
These idiots didn't realize that their whole world was gonna literally get blown up
Yeah.
by arachnids. Am I saying that right? Arachnids.
Yes, you are.
Somehow sent this meteor into Earth and blew it up. And these who were separated, when they went on this adventure, each find their own journey fighting these arachnids and come together at the end to destroy the arachnids. And more importantly than that, they didn't destroy them all. They captured a brain, bad guy brain, and then the movie ends with them torturing a brain.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And there's a co-ed shower scene.
Yes.
I think
yes.
It's probably, we need to mention that.
It's kind of like Metroid, the video game, except totally fascistic.
Yes.
Which I enjoy.
It is exactly that.
And they don't get the cool mother brain voice, which I always really liked in the cartoons.
Mark, I have to say, that was one of the most concise plot descriptions we've ever had on the show. And I guess there probably isn't that much plot in this movie because it's mostly people blowing shit up. But I want to thank you for that.
I disagree. This movie, am I allowed to start talking about the movie?
Yeah, you can start about it at any moment. Yeah.
One thing, so I don't watch a lot of movies second time. Like movies I like it, it's fine. But this is one of the few movies I've probably seen like 6 or 7 times.
Oh yeah.
My movie career watching. And it has a great plot. It has great character development, even though like people are really cheese balls.
Yes.
They really do grow. And
they do.
They become. And I didn't notice this till today, but I was kind of watching the time on when like the big asteroid sent to destroy Buenos Aires. It's 52 minutes into a 2-hour movie. So there's 52 minutes of them like being friends and having a life before it's just people being blown up and destroyed. So almost half the movie is character development. Which
You're right.
You don't think. You watch that movie, you think, oh, it's just a gross slash 'em up,
Furthermore,
bug fight.
it's character development with like a bunch of like horrendous Melrose Place actors, and the fact that it still works is a real testament to the filmmaking. Because it's
ridiculous
it's like
goofballs.
Doogie Howser and a bunch of 90210 extras, and I'm somehow like
I agree with everything you said except horrendous. Everything else was spot on. They're magnificent actors.
We're getting some action from the we're getting some action from Chad Ryden in the old Twitch chat. Who does point out that Denise Richards for some reason is not in that shower scene. I mean, it seems like that's what they got her for, but you know,
well, she's in a different section. She's a pilot. She's not with those stupid grunts.
You're right. Who am I? Who was I to think that a Verhoeven movie would eschew plot for nudity? My bad. My bad.
Something we should look up. How old was she when that came out? Because that came before Wild Things, didn't it? Or
Mos
after?
Def. Yeah, she probably wasn't going.
Young.
She probably wasn't going super nude until after she'd hooked up with the machine, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
Were they together?
They were married, man.
Oh God, no! I'm sorry.
That's why.
While we're asking the, is that did she get AIDS from Charlie Sheen? Is that what you're claiming?
She went from like one of the most beautiful young women in Hollywood to you can't really look her in the eye anymore.
Wow.
Right. We call that going the full Tara Reid. It's like you see her in the Big Lebowski and you're like, look at that young ingenue, perfect virility that I want to smash. Yeah. And then like 3 years later, you're like, she has bits of granite under her skin, and it's horrifying.
She lived a hard life. While we're talking in the Twitch chat, let me pose a question to the Twitch chat. I was watching some special features. You can respond throughout the show, but the brain bug, as we discussed earlier, was designed by Craig. The brain was designed by Craig Hayes. He was the creature designer, and he said that when he designed it, he thought of it as kind of a cross between this famous actor / director and a giant grub. So if you can pick it, just let us know if you think whatever kind of big, wide, famous Hollywood director / actor it was. And if I forget, please let me remind you which famous Hollywood actor it was.
And we can't play, right? Because I was
you can play.
I was gonna say like Robert Townsend.
Robert Townsend.
I was gonna say Harmony Korine. Looks like Harmony Korine a little bit.
It is neither of them.
Oh, really? Damn.
No, it isn't.
Josh from Tennessee throwing out Marlon Brando. Only directed one film, Josh.
That's pretty close.
It is pretty close. The Stellar One-Eyed Jack's a great movie.
I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Was it John Ford?
It is not John Ford. You're getting close to the right era, though.
If he had one eye, it would have been John Ford. I mean, it's got to be Orson Welles.
It is Orson Welles. It is absolutely Orson
Welles with a vagina like Fisher for a mouth. I mean, I'm down. I'm here. I'm down with it.
It's exactly him. It's crazy that it's him.
Do you think
but
David Lynch felt ripped off because the Beast had the vagina like Fisher mouth Beast first?
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure he was like, actually, I am the person who puts vaginas on the faces of the people when they're doing things. Mark, what were you going to say?
I don't know. Can you just do David Lynch the whole time?
No.
While we're talking about vagina-like fissures, please join my transcendental meditation cult. That's how I really make my money.
Send me a monthly $55 per month, please. And if 100,000 people do that, then I can afford to make one more self-produced monkey movie. It'll be a 3-minute movie that will release on Netflix.
So, Mark, I know you've seen this movie 6 times. How many sequels of Starship Troopers have you seen?
Seen them all except the one that came out in 2017, just because it's really not available anywhere that I know of, and it might be now. But when I've gone looking for it, but I've only watched the sequels one time, and they're so bad.
I have not even tried. It seems like they would be miserable.
The second one is terrible. The last of the third one, there's a kind of a cool fight scene at the end, but
Okay.
if you can get that far.
I think the thing that kept me away from the sequels is because even with Verhoeven, who is one of my favorites, it almost seems like Starship Troopers could fall apart at any moment. Like there's so much like him like everything getting pulled together and like just right. Like the acting is a kind of silly, but it sort of works because they're portraying sort of a vapid fascist society, so it kind of makes sense that they're weird and vapid.
Everything
but
seems
like,
very purposeful. All
yes,
the casting, yes.
yes. But I can't imagine anyone else could pull that off other than him. Right? Is that possible?
Well,
I want to talk. Oh, go ahead.
what's weird about these movies, and I'm curious. So, when I used to see Paul Verhoeven movies as a child, and here's the thing that's amazing about Paul Verhoeven, because he's obviously, you look back at it, and I watch these movies now, RoboCop, Total Recall, this picture, even Showgirls, and I see all the satirical elements.
Yes.
Well, I did not see the satirical elements until I was much, much older. And yet, I still loved all those movies for one reason or another. And some of the reasons might have been a little Pee Wee Herman-ish of me. But that's you know, Showgirls had a very profound effect on my pants. You know, and this movie, I just thought, you know, Starship Troopers was just a great. It went right over my head that this is portraying, you know, our heroes as, you know, Nazi fetishist, white colonial supremacists. Like that wasn't why I liked this movie. I liked this movie because the guy from Major League got shot in a training exercise in the face. That's why I liked this movie when I was a kid. But I think it's kind of beautiful that they work both ways. They work for your snooty film goer that most people end up becoming, and it also works for your, you know, abattoir full of screaming handicapped children that we were in 1997 or whatever this came out. You know,
and also
just works.
There's something interesting about the fact that it does work on all those levels, and it's like, okay, even RoboCop is like sort of trashy but also sort of high art. It, like, all of his movies are kind of all of those things where it's like, okay, if you just watch this movie and listen to the rousing music and you're like, it's cool that these troopers are killing all those bugs. I sure hate those bugs. And then if you get even one level below the surface, you go, oh no. Yeah. Especially watching this, it's surprising to me that it's a pre 9/11 movie because it feels like a post 9/11 movie. It feels like it is explicitly about like the way we attacked Iraq and Afghanistan, and like the way we demonize them. And I mean, I guess that's how we demonize every enemy of ours, but it feels like so much like they're excited that he's afraid, like, oh yeah, we're going to torture him and we're going to put it on TV. It's like, oh man, this feels like 2003, but it's not. It's 97.
Between the Idiocracy and Paul Verhoeven movies, they predicted every aspect of Trump's America through film.
Yeah, they did. They did. Mark, you are our honored guest, and because of that, I want to ask you something special. Will you tell us your beef lamb year of the picture? What was your most favorite part of this film?
Okay, so John actually alluded to it earlier. So in the training exercise where, now I know that actor from Can't Buy Me Love. That's where I remember him. He was, one of the bad boys in Can't Buy Me Love, football players. So the part that I just die laughing every time this happens is on the training exercise, his head gets blown off. There's like 36% of his head is gone.
Yes. And
Johnny Rico yells medic at the top of his lungs.
What's he gonna yell? Space hearse? Come on.
He does yell medic.
He yells medic. It's funny. It's almost like a callback because when they first get to boot camp, that same guy, gets his arm ripped off by Zim. Like he breaks his arm. Then Zim yells medic.
Yeah.
So I mean that guy. So that's my favorite. That's my beef. What do you call that? Beef gyro lamb?
Beef lamb gyro.
Gyro.
Okay.
A gyro, a hero of the picture.
I was looking on Wikipedia for this here Flickerdoodle, and the lady who shot him in the face, they became married.
What?
Yeah, they were husband and wife.
That's
Movie
sweet.
or in real life?
Now, in real life, now that's a meet cute you can get behind. Right
That's beautiful.
there. Your
Yeah.
mother shot my face off in a Paul Verhoeven tome, proto-futuristic tome that foretold all of these things.
I think
Sean, what's yours? I know you probably have 600 of them.
I've got 1,000. I'll do one, and then we can spread out from there.
We can do more than one.
Sean gets seven.
I write down notes, and usually it's good movies, so I like write down a bunch of different notes. So a lot of these aren't necessarily my favorite things, but some of them are my favorite things, like this. And this one seems obvious.
This is a much hallowed segment that we really stick to the rules with here, Mark.
But my number one, very most top Euro, and this is probably the most obvious one to me, but I have to say it anyway. It's the guy. He's just stamping shit when they're trying to become soldiers.
Yes.
And he said he's sitting in a chair and he says, "Mobile infantry made me the man I am today." And he shakes his hand and you see his robot hand and you're like, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
like
you're already on the nose.
Yeah, you're already feeling bad. And then he like just slides back from the chair and you see, oh, he's got no legs too. And you're like, oh no.
Look, Sean,
no.
I'm disappointed.
Johnny Rico.
That was going to be my second favorite part.
It's so good.
I'm disappointed in you both because that's not even the best amputee nubbin moment of the movie. Because there is a scene where Michael Ironside starts rubbing Denise Richards basically on the titty with his nubbin.
Yes.
Now that is some Cronenbergian body horror.
He puts the nub right on the shoulder there.
Yeah.
John?
Yes.
Before I get into the deep depths of my favorite things, what is your next favorite thing, sir?
I mean, I just think this is like a Verhoeven like classic to me. Like I can't believe this movie exists. I can't believe that he pulled one over on studios and a society this completely. It's like almost a miraculous movie, like because when they're making RoboCop, for me, like I could see everyone being in on the joke as you're making RoboCop, and it sort of has this like incredibly somber, like picaresque performance by Peter Weller, where it's just But this movie, no, this is a Robert Heinlein like libertarian ding dong Ayn Rand Bible.
Yeah.
This is like, there's people who are like, what's your religion? Like, Heinlein's my religion. I mean, this is people love this book and love Robert Heinlein, and he was able to just completely throw it in the trash and get away with it and make a and the ending of this movie, I can't believe a movie ends this way. So I guess I'll say the ending of this movie is my favorite because it's just like, holy fuck, he actually did it.
Yes.
He actually made because this dude lived through Nazi occupation. He actually made a movie where we are the Nazis, rooting for the Nazis.
Yes.
I mean, it's just an insane, like, brilliant thing by Paul Verhoeven. And I'm glad he got away with it before Showgirls kind of took him down a notch or five.
Poor Paul. There's also, this is another one of my favorite things about it, but there's a way, and it's pretty insidious. The music sells it so hard because the music is like so like you're so excited to hear the beautiful music, and the music stays. Like the theme plays throughout, and even in these moments, even like when I as an adult finally realized, oh no, that is just absolutely an SS outfit he's wearing. And he goes, it's afraid, and people cheer, and they play the music, and you go, oh no, what? So we've been killing these things that have feelings, and also this is something that like I have noticed in previous viewings, but really noticed this time. Like there's a part halfway through when the guy who's on the video dude, he's like a reporter. He's like, some people are talking about the fact that maybe that we encroached upon their space so that they were just defending themselves. And everybody's like pissed off. They're like, no, they fucked our shit up. We hate them. We're going to kill every one of them. And then like that colors just every other moment of the movie. And you're like, wait, Did they go in there on purpose to fuck shit up so that they could fuck more shit up? Is that what happened? Mark, is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
Ah, boy. I even wondered, this is really deep conspiracy theory. When I see the meteor, the first meteor, I was like, is that a bug meteor? Or is that just a regular ass meteor that they decided was from the bugs? Did they just, is it definitely a bug meteor?
I don't know. And before I watched it again today, I was really, because I think about this movie a lot, I'm trying to think, did the bugs really attack them? Or did they just want their prime real estate in the solar system?
Yeah. Also, when they show the map, like they're so far away. Why does it matter that these bugs are in this planet, this shitty desert planet, fucking light years away? Why do you care?
Leave it be. Yeah.
Just let them be. Okay. Other favorite things. I'm sorry to say all the favorite things, but I have to. Sentence, death, execution tonight at 6. All net, all channels. They force you. They force you to watch. They force every person with a phone or a TV on to watch the execution. I love that shit. That's great. Okay, final favorite thing of all. In the do your part, the kids are crushing the cockroaches with their feet. Great part. And then they cut to like their mother or something, and she's just like, she's insane. Is that their teacher?
They're at school, I believe. They're outside of the school.
She had gone full
crazy woman as their.
She had gone full Tim and Eric at that point.
Yes, she's fucking insane. The media breaks are perfect. I mean, it's the same. It's the same. One of the guys who wrote RoboCop, so it has a very similar feel to RoboCop. Like the media breaks work in the same way, except like. It doesn't quite have the somber feel. Like you mentioned earlier, the RoboCop has like a sadness to it.
It has more of a heart. There's more of like there's a knight in shining armor underneath it all.
Yes.
There is nothing beneath this but our own dark hearts.
And love. Mark?
There's nothing more noble than dying
yes.
for your citizenship.
Yes.
So there's no reason to have any empathy or care for life at all, because at the end, the best thing you can do is sacrifice your life
to vote
for the for the Orkin man,
or to get a license to have babies.
Right.
Yes.
It's amazing that this movie was taken as seriously as it was. I went and read some of the reviews, and they would try to kind of like. They'd be like, this movie glorifies fascism, or this movie whitewashes Brazilian actors and Filipino actors. It's like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
Now you're getting it.
Yes. It's about a bunch of white people who took over the world. Of course they live in...
Casper
they lived
Van
in
Dien, who can't act to save his life, is a physically perfect, aristocratic Hitler Youth
beautiful.
specimen.
Yes, he's gorgeous.
And couldn't be better cast in the role, honestly.
Pretty much everybody is perfect for who they play. I mean, Ironside obviously is just heavenly.
Ironside, Clancy Brown, and Rue McClanahan from Golden Girls showing up almost take me out of it with their actual skilled performance.
It is a trap that you almost fall into.
I need to go back to the constant eye-watering of Denise Richards and Dizzy. I just need their eyes to water at all times.
They get very sad at every moment.
Yes.
Mark, we've talked about all the things we love about, or some of the things. We can return to the things we love about this movie, but we have to talk shit about it. That's part of the show. We must talk about the low man. What is your low man, Mark? Please.
Okay, so I have two.
Yes.
So I'll do one. The worst thing about this movie is, spoiler alert, after Dizzy is dead, and they have the funeral for her. It was like she was just like a team. Not a team leader? What do you call her? What?
Squad leader.
He wasn't like a ranking official.
But she was like below the squad leader even.
And she just made squad leader like right before she was killed.
Yeah.
They had this like very formal funeral for her. I'm like, 500,000 people have died out here on this planet. Why are we having this moment for the big climax for her.
Yes.
They shoot her off into space.
You
in a
can't
nice
get in the way
casket,
of Paul Verhoeven hitting his beats, man.
Well, they did Princess Leia. That's where they got that idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Search for
And,
the search for Spock and Dizzy. Send her to the Genesis planet.
I think it would have been a better scene if they had like a small funeral where it was just like Johnny Rico and Ace and
Ace.
Ace.
Jake Busey.
And I think that they could have made a better scene. And I think the whole purpose of that scene was so he could give that same speech that he got in high school.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's a big callback movie. It is like a big time. There's so many callbacks. Everything is called back. Every major thing is called back.
Right.
This movie
is
goes
because
we're all indoctrinated, right? That's how you indoctrinate somebody. Then now that's just part of their very natural for him to give those speeches and say those same things on the battlefield that he had learned. You didn't feel like he was ripping anybody off. When the new recruits came in, he gave the same speech to them that Zim gave him. When it was just like that was just what you were supposed to do.
Yes,
you had no free thought. You were just like a robot. I have this rank now, and this is what I say.
Yeah, it is funny. At some point, they're talking about the bugs, and they're talking about how they're the perfect soldier because they don't think, and like they're talking about it derisively. But really, that's what all of our main characters, except for Denise Richards and Smart Guy, Pilot Man, whatever his name is, except for them.
The bad guy from Melrose Place.
Yes, Patrick Muldoon. Xander Barkalow. Apparently, that's what the internet tells me. Yeah, but everybody except them is just like some doofus just going in like, oh, let's kill everybody. I mean, I get it. Kill or be killed.
From above. Can I say my second worst one too before Sean steals?
Yes, you should get it in now.
Okay, get it in.
Okay. So the general that they find in that refrigerator.
Oh no.
I hate that guy.
Really?
Coward. A general should be dead. And then he's like this bumbling idiot when he gets out of there.
Yeah.
And and then when he dies, the only part I like about that guy is when he's one of those moth things kills him. And Ace is in the corner and kind of laughs.
That's the non-Quado guy.
Yeah,
that's the guy. That's the guy whose belly is Quado.
He also
in Total Recall.
He has the super sexy Nightmare on Elm Street 2 BDSM scene.
Oh yes,
the teacher.
Yes, they throw various balls at him in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Seen that movie? I have no recollection of that scene.
If you saw it in your adult life, you would have vivid memories of it because it is.
You sexually repress those memories.
Yeah, I think so. Because he goes to a leather bar.
I live them out every day. I love a good leather bar. You know me.
Who doesn't?
Love a leather.
You're a leather daddy.
Leather daddy.
That's how we all refer to you, John. Low main us, please.
I guess I'm going to skip the obvious one, which is Neil Patrick Harris in anything. But so I think
fantastic.
Is he though? I can't take
him.
Neil Patrick Harris seriously in any film role. None. Zero.
Not supposed to.
Zero film roles.
Just adore him.
You're probably right, but I still can't.
Not even Gone Girl?
No, he's terrible in Gone Girl. Worst part.
Wow.
Worst part.
Cold-blooded.
Worst part.
Cold-blooded.
Hot-blooded.
Okay.
Dies while having sex. But
True.
For me, I guess I'm the worst part of this because I felt like I remembered a different ending. Did I make that up? Was there ever?
I don't know.
Was there ever like an ending where Doogie Howser was more involved? Is this the original ending? Did this ending get? This movie is so weird and hits so many different like well-tread beats that I think I just keep expecting things from other movies to happen. Like he really gets away with making kind of a like clunky, silly action movie and making it amazing by having it kind of feast on itself. Paul Verhoeven kind of reminds me like if Steven Spielberg hadn't started to believe his own bullshit and kept his sense of humor for his entire career and like kept his edge. That's kind of how Verhoeven makes movies to me because it still has these like really tried and true tropey plots with this big, like, all these big sweeping moments, and the like Dizzy dying is like kind of paint by numbers, and the fight for the girls kind of paint by numbers, and then the Clancy Brown guy getting busted down to private, but being the private who saves it all. Like,
Yeah.
this movie, because it has such weird tropey goodness in this case, I felt like I expected more from the ending, even though I love the ending so much, and it was my favorite part. When it does end, I'm just kind of like, that's it? Holy shit.
I mean, it is a weird end because it ends. I mean, they were talking. I was listening to the audio commentary with Newmeyer and Verhoeven, and they talked about how like so many of the propaganda movies during World War II came out in like 43, and so when they ended, they were like, "We're gonna fight and we're gonna win," because they had no fucking clue if they were gonna win.
Right.
So they were like, in this movie, that's essentially the same thing, where it's just like, we're gonna win, but they don't fucking know that they're gonna win. I mean, they got one brain bug. How many brain bugs are there? I have no idea.
I'm feeling like there's a lot of pussy mouth brain bugs, guys.
There must be. I mean, there's like a million of the worker bee bugs. There must be more of the brain bugs, right? I don't know.
Drones, Sean. Complete
Drones.
metaphor. Call them drones.
Shit, they're drones. I want to talk about my low main.
It's hard. I really like this movie. It's hard to find.
It is very hard.
Wet, limp noodle. It's hard to find.
I think this is I kind of go back and forth about this, because I think the acting when I first watched this movie is the thing that I didn't understand about it. I don't know if it's the worst thing, but like I think only the second time I watched this movie did I get it.
Right.
Part of it is like, I think you need to watch a few Verhoeven movies before you can begin to get that they're so fucking weird. Like in the same way you watch a De Palma movie once, and then like if you watch more, you go, okay, I'm beginning to understand how he makes movies. I think the first time I watched this, I went, is this a TV show? It's like a movie but also there's parts that are in a TV show with the actors acting like they're in a TV show. So I think I don't know if the acting is bad, and I don't know if the acting is bad on purpose. I assume it is because I assume Verhoeven is a genius and he makes all the plans. But
I think he's like an idiot savant.
Yeah, is that what it is? Maybe so.
Like, I think he's like a giant enfant terrible, like toddler, like genius toddler maniac fool.
Yeah. Also, I wonder because like the performances in most of his movies are weird as fuck. Yeah. I mean, even Weller, who I like a whole lot in RoboCop, is fucking weird.
Yes.
And I mean, Arnold is always weird, but Arnold is weird in Total Recall. It's really Basic Instinct is maybe the only movie of his where people are acting like people, I think.
Well, I think he casts with a purpose because he's casting Michael Douglas right after he's had the biggest hit of his career with Fatal Attraction.
Yes.
And he's totally... Okay. This isn't my least favorite thing about Paul Verhoeven, but it is one of the things that makes Paul Verhoeven movies kind of uncomfortable to watch, is all of the males are feckless, dickless, ballless, moron fools.
Yes.
All of them.
And often sexual predators.
Yeah, in every sense they are both prey and predator, because they're just but it kind of makes me sad that I see myself in them.
You're saying it like a bad thing, but I mean, I see all those as positives.
Yeah. You like ballless men, Mark?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mark, I want to talk to you about something, Mark.
Okay,
you have a thought, please lay it on me.
So the first time I watched this, I didn't know any of the backstory. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anything. I just thought it was like they were like as a tribute to like those 1950s, early 60s matinee movies, and that's why the acting was so bad, because that was the exact kind of performances I was seeing. Was
sure
real, like where they superimpose a giant spider.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think they're onto something too, because those were also about like threats that people couldn't understand, and like like having a faceless threat that they don't understand. We just didn't know that in this case the faceless threat was ourselves.
Yeah. Mark,
But yeah, I think
Fun.
like bringing up the old Ants movies and the old like giant tarantula movies. I think you're right. I think this does harken back to that style of movie where it's completely about something else. And I think you're right in that the acting is suitably like polysue for it. Like they're just beautiful stand-in, beautiful proxies.
Yes, you might be right about that. I want to talk about how weird this movie is. We've talked a little bit about it. I want to talk with you guys about how strange. So this is, I mean, by all accounts, it is meant to be a big popcorn blockbuster movie. I mean, it is got shootings, it's got monsters, it's got tons of effects. It is like a big movie. But it's fucking there's lots of weird shit. I mean, there's tons of weird shit. These are the things I wrote down. Most weird. The leading lady, or one of the leading ladies, Denise Richards, vomits. There's a scene of her vomiting, which I can't imagine happens in any other movie where there's a leading lady. Does she vomit?
Just The Exorcist.
They
I think.
show it.
Yeah, it's just The Exorcist. Yeah. They're playing arena football, and Johnny Rico flips through the air like 5 different times. That's really strange to me, Mark. And at one point, Ironside, when they are inspecting the gaping head wound of a man who's had his brains,
of all time.
yes, he puts his fingers into the hole and pulls out goo, and then he says, "John, what does he say?"
They suck their brains out. He should have.
It's amazing.
He should have tasted the brain goo.
Oh, that's brains. That's definitely brains. Like one of those cocaine dudes.
Man, Xander
that's
gets
definitely
it.
brain.
Xander gets the brain drain. That's one of the great kills in cinema.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because you don't think they're going to show it, or you think he's going to get out of it at the last second. Nah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
He does not get out of it at all. I also like the fact that, like, there's a ton of digital effects in this, but there's also some really cool practical shit. Like the brain drain thing is really cool. Like seeing goo come out of his head, and that moment where his eyes just like go up into his head, you can feel that the suction is like pulling his eyeballs out is really good. There's a moment when Johnny Rico's on the back of one of these tanker bugs, and he's getting flipped around. He's trying to hold on for dear life, and he just starts blasting it, and it looks almost like a squash or something to me. Like it's orange inside, and he's blasted inside of this squash, and then he throws the hand grenade in there. I love that part. All of like the close-up stuff is super cool. All of those cool practical effects, I love those.
And they show him hanging on to the hole he created, and that bug's spinning him around. He's trying to get his grenade.
Yes.
That was a really cool looking scene.
Yeah.
Like, wait, this looks different than the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Just imagine them putting like a black tarp over a merry-go-round and just spinning it around and say, okay, we're going to try and get this shot here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, me deep in the features. So they had the back of the bug. So, like, the wide shots are mostly fake, mostly CG. But the close-ups are him hanging out on the back of a thing on top of a truck that they've got a gimbal on, and like shaking him, and he's just like holding on for dear life, trying not to fall off. One thing I remembered from the features that blew my fucking mind. So he's getting his leg fixed in the machine. Oh God, did we lose Mark?
I think we lost Mark, but you just keep going.
Oh, I'll just keep talking. I don't know what happened to Mark. We
lost Dizzy! Dizzy! Mark!
He's getting his leg fixed. And
Medic!
Medic! Apparently, he was in that fucking tank for 3 days. They had to shoot that scene, that one tiny scene with people like knocking on the door and Dizzy kissing the side of the aquarium. He was in that tank for 3 days while they were shooting it.
Hell yeah, man. Tank full of highlighter fluid? That makes me think of college.
It just sounds so miserable to me to be in that goddamn thing for so long. John?
I forgot what we were talking about. I'm still worried about Mark.
I know. What happened to... especially since in Starship Troopers, there's a moment where he's talking to his parents, and then they disappear, and we find out later that they have been killed in a firestorm. Is there a terrorist attack in Antioch, Tennessee?
Buenos Aires is gone. They're all gone.
Mark, no! I feel sad.
On the plus side, we don't have to do any sign-offs or social media cues for Mark, but we can give you ours. If you're not watching our Twitch stream, check it out on twitch.tv / Food Court Movie Podcast. Where else can they find us online, Sean?
We are at Food Courtcast on Twitter. We're Food Court Movie Podcast on Instagram, and that's pretty much all of them. But what we most need from you, the very most important thing we need, are 5 stars on whatever app you're using to listen to us or watch us, and reviews. When people see the reviews, they go, wow, this is very exciting. And I don't know what it is about the algorithm, but the algorithm gets fucking stoked when they see reviews. And they're like, I'm going to show it to other people. That's how the algorithm talks. I'm going to show it to other people. Let's let everyone. Oh, Mark is coming back. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he's coming back. He's about to show up, and we can let him do all his socials
will he come
potentially. Back? Mark, what happened?
He's got no sound. He's muted.
You're still muted. Oh my God, Mark!
I think Mark just came back like Michael Ironsides. His nubbin is now a electronic power vice grip from Army of Darkness. For the next week, we have Jamie Bradley, and we are watching Dead Ringers, which is available on a few different streaming sites. We're not going to let Mark ever speak again. We're just going to bid everyone adieu and a bon appetit. Take care.
Bon appetit. I still can't hear you, Mark.
He's gone.